I come to this House, Madam Chair, grateful for having been elected by the voters of Ottawa South, a new constituency encompassing suburban neighborhoods in the cities of Ottawa and Gloucester. In achieving my election to this House, it was my honor to meet with many thousands of my constituents as I sought them out at over 40,000 doors. And many issues of great importance and concern were raised by them. It's my honor as well as my duty to bring these concerns before this House.
John Manley was born and raised in Ottawa and is a graduate of both local universities. After having clerked with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John went on to practice business and income tax law as a partner with the local firm. John's commitment to the community has been evident through his years of active service in local organizations, including the Ottawa Carleton Board of Trade, Arts Court, and the Stop Hunger Fast. His interest in his community led him to his involvement in federal politics, and in 1988, John was elected Member of Parliament for Ottawa South. John and his wife Judith live with their 3 children in the riding.
The role of a Member of Parliament, very simply on national issues, is to, first of all, to gain an understanding of them, to understand what people in the constituency feel and believe about these issues, and to be part of the process of resolving them at a national level. Since 1988, I've learned a lot of things about a lot of issues. I've applied myself to try to learn about how the economy ticks, more recently about how the airline industry or the railways function. That's my job, to know about things like that. But then I have to take that knowledge and understanding that I gain through my efforts, through my work, and I have to add to that an understanding of how people that I represent feel about them. And I have to broaden that by understanding to perhaps a lesser extent, but to some extent, how people from other parts of the country feel as well, because we're trying to achieve through government a consensus about how our country should function.
He's a great guy. Got to know him about 3 years ago in a project with UNICEF. He contacted us and sort of out of the blue said, would you like our assistance on a particular project? UNICEF said, terrific. And in the course of getting to know him, I've realized that he's got the 2 key ingredients for a politician: idealism and intellect. Just the right qualities. He's got great principles and the gumption and the brains to put everything into action. So I think the world of him.
People have become very cynical and very questioning of anything that politicians say to them. And the only remedy for that, the only remedy, is that we begin to rebuild confidence in our political institutions by giving good, sound government, by telling the truth, by becoming trustworthy. And if we fail in that task, then our institutions are imperiled. And I feel that where the Conservative government has fallen short is that there was a breakdown in that basic element of trust between particularly Prime Minister Mulroney and the Canadian people.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Prime Minister. 2 days after the election, the Conservative member for Mississauga South was quoted as saying, Ottawa voters will be punished for not having elected Conservatives to Parliament on November 21st. He later said that other regions would also suffer for having voted Liberal. Canadians of all parties are appalled at this horribly cynical attitude and approach to government. Will the Prime Minister do the honourable thing and stand in this House, denounce the member's remarks, and disassociate the government from them? And will he suggest to the members of his party that this member should not be elected chairman of the House Finance Committee in this Parliament?
Mr. Speaker, I will be happy to confirm to my honourable friend that all regions of Canada, irrespective of how the citizens may have voted, will be treated with the same degree of justice and equality as any other. The fact that the citizens of Ottawa returned or the general region of Ottawa returned more opposition members than government members matters not at all in terms of the fairness and the consideration that we will continue to bring to the matters that affect the well-being of the citizens of Ottawa.
Member for Ottawa South.
We have to recognize the important role that government plays in building and sustaining economic growth. There are countless jobs to be done in Canada that are lying undone. Our roads and bridges and sewers, our airports, all are in need of work. Now is the time to get some of those jobs done. In the employment stage of their lives, we have to ensure that people who are at all stages of their lives have access to the training opportunities that they need in order to meet the challenges that exist for Canada in the future. It's time for Canadians to deal with this issue. Canadians want to tackle the deficit and debt problem, but they want to do it in a way that they think is reasonable, that is fair, that's achievable. We can't keep telling people that we're doomed to failure. We have to find targets that are achievable. We have to help Canadians believe that if they do sacrifice today, there is a reward at the end of the road for this. Our platform is that we want to reduce the level of the deficit to 3% of our gross domestic product, or 3% of our income per year. That's the same standard that the European community is imposing on countries to be admitted to the European monetary unit. That's realistic. That's achievable. When I hear the Conservatives or the Reform Party going out and talking about how they're going to eliminate the deficit in 4 or 5 years, to me that simply lacks credibility. I don't believe those people. I don't think Canadians believe those people. Canadians believe that the criteria applied for who should get medical service ought to be based upon medical needs assessed by medical professionals and not by ability to pay. And that, to me, is one of the fundamental tenets of our Liberal policy, and it's one of the key components of our medical system. Ability to pay should not be the issue. What the Liberal Party is going to bring into this election campaign is a focus not just on change. It'll be change from this 9 years, the 9 dark years of Conservative government. It's going to be a change that will reinstill the confidence that people used to have in the federal government in Canada. Jean Chrétien is not a newcomer to politics. Everybody knows that. He's had experience. I think that's a plus. I think that's a good thing. He's held virtually every major portfolio in government. No scandals, no major botch-ups. He's got the qualities as a person as well as an experience as a minister, which I think suit him to be Prime Minister of Canada. I mean, we've had it with people who are glib in 2 official languages. Jean Chrétien says what he thinks. It may not be elegant phraseology. If that's what you want, bring back Brian Mulroney. He could be very elegant in his phraseology. That's not what I think Canadians are looking for. We're going to put a new team together of new people, new ideas, a new vision, new energy. And we're going to give Canadians, I think, the kind of government that they're looking for, that they deserve. And I hope that when we come to 4 years from now, people are going to say, thank goodness for 1993, we got back on track.
We're going into an election campaign determined and committed to winning. And we're going in with a leader who's ready, a platform that's ready, candidates who are ready.
People of my riding trusted me enough to put me in that seat. That sense that I'm not there, I'm not sitting in that seat, I'm not in that chamber for any other reason than the fact that the people of Ottawa South put me there is something that I haven't lost. It's a humbling sensation to me.